I walked into the Evangelische Hochschule Berlin, a place that promised me the world, but delivered nothing but broken dreams and shattered expectations. As I reflect on my time here, I am reminded of the countless disappointments that have left an indelible mark on my heart. The first thing that struck me was the outdated technology they used. It was like taking a step back into the dark ages. Online classes were a nightmare, with material disappearing into thin air, and the online learning platform was clunky and stressful to navigate. I felt like I was stuck in a never-ending cycle of frustration, with no escape in sight. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. The professors were unprepared and disinterested, making it seem like they were just going through the motions. The course content was irrelevant to the real world, with too much theory and hardly any practical application. It was like they were preparing us for a world that didn't exist. And then there was the bureaucracy. Oh, the bureaucracy. It was like navigating a labyrinth, with endless paperwork and red tape that seemed to serve no purpose other than to drive us crazy. Getting help was like pulling teeth, with the administration making it clear that they were more interested in doing things the way they had always been done, rather than actually helping us. The facilities were outdated and poorly maintained, making me feel like I was studying in a neglected building. The student body was cliquey, with new students like me being made to feel like outsiders. I remember feeling like I was walking on eggshells, trying to fit in, but never quite succeeding. The career services were a joke, minimal support for finding internships or jobs after graduation. It was like they expected us to magically figure it out on our own. And to top it all off, the tuition fees were exorbitant, making me wonder if it was all worth it. But what really took the cake was the inflexibility of the administration. Requests for accommodations or adjustments were routinely denied, making me feel like I was fighting a losing battle. It was like they had no concept of empathy or understanding. As I look back on my time at Evangelische Hochschule Berlin, I am left with a sense of sadness and disappointment. It's like I was sold a dream, but what I got was a nightmare. I feel like I've been robbed of a quality education, and instead, left with a sense of disillusionment. So I ask you, dear listeners, have you ever felt like you've been let down by an institution that promised you the world? Share your experiences with me in the comments below. Let's create a community that supports and understands each other. As I close this chapter of my life...
So, I've been looking into some not so nice things happening near Evangelische Hochschule Berlin, and it's kind of sad, Like, there are these shops selling what they claim are pieces of the Berlin Wall. Tourists, they come hoping to take home a piece of history, but it turns out some of these fragments are just fake, painted concrete. It's like they reselling a story, not the real thing. And I can't help but feel bad for the tourists. They were probably so excited to have a genuine piece and then to find out it's worthless. It's just wrong, I bet they felt really disappointed, maybe even cheated. And the people who sell these, I doubt they lose any sleep over it, which is just sad. Then there's this thing at Checkpoint Charlie where they offer these souvenir photos. It starts with a harmless picture, but then the price suddenly jumps and tourists are pressured to pay way more than they initially thought. It's like they were taking advantage of people's desire to capture a moment, and that's just not fair. I imagine these tourists feeling kind of trapped, having to fork over more money, and it just leaves a bad taste, It's like the memory of Berlin gets tainted by this greed. And oh, these so-called tradesmen going door to door in the residential areas near Evangelische Hochschule Berlin, they claim to be there for repairs, but they really just scamming people out of their money for nothing. They probably leave the scene with a smirk while their victims are left feeling violated and probably really angry. It's just so sneaky and cruel. And can you believe there are fake police officers around? They show up saying they need to secure valuables and people, trusting they the real deal, hand over their cash. I mean, how are you supposed to know who's real and who's not? It's like the trust in authority figures is being exploited, and that's just heartbreaking. These victims, they must feel so stupid afterward, even though it's not their fault. It's really disheartening to see all this happening around such a respected place like Evangelische Hochschule Berlin. It's like the area is shadowed by these deceitful acts, and it shouldn't be that way, Places of learning and culture should be surrounded by honesty and integrity. It's just sad that some people see it as an opportunity to take advantage of others. I wish I could say that these scammers will get what they deserve, but the world doesn't always work like that, does it? I hope that by sharing this, people will be more careful, more aware. And I hope that the beauty of Berlin, the real experiences, aren't overshadowed by these unfortunate encounters. We deserve better, and so do the tourists who come to admire our city.
Businesses near Evangelische Hochschule Berlin are a mixed bag, but if you are looking for quality, prepare to be disappointed. The area is filled with establishments that seem to operate under the philosophy of taking your money first and thinking about service later. Let us start with shopping centers. The Mall of Berlin is a perfect example of how not to run a retail space. It is big, it is shiny, and yet it fails at the most basic functions. Visitors complain about the lack of restrooms, only one or two available for thousands of people, often closed for cleaning or hidden behind confusing signs. And when you do find one, you must pay €1 just to use it. Imagine finishing your meal at the food court, only to realize you must dig for coins just to wash your hands. The parking fees are another issue, designed to punish those who dare to arrive by car. If you enjoy long lines, poor signage, and the thrill of hunting for a toilet, this is the place for you. Then there is Vabali, a spa that promises relaxation but delivers stress. The concept involves nudity, which is fine, except many guests report not being properly informed beforehand. Some arrive expecting a peaceful retreat, only to find themselves in what feels like a crowded, chaotic club. The staff, rather than easing tensions, often make things worse with rigid rules and zero flexibility. Reservations mean nothing if you are late by even a few minutes, and good luck if you are in a group. Some claim they were turned away simply for arriving together. Theft is also a concern, with guests reporting stolen belongings while staff offer little sympathy. If you want to pay premium prices for an experience that leaves you more tense than when you arrived, Vabali is your spot. Dining options are no better. Nenny Berlin is a restaurant that seems to specialize in disappointment. Despite booking weeks in advance, guests describe being treated like an inconvenience. The food arrives late, cold, or in portions so small you wonder if the chef is rationing for wartime. One reviewer described their beef tartare as a mystery paste on toast, while another found plastic in their potatoes, only to be told it was salt. The service ranges from indifferent to outright hostile, with some feeling they were treated worse for not speaking German. If you enjoy paying high prices for underwhelming meals and bad attitudes, this is the place for you. Café Martha at Schulz Hotel Berlin Wall is another letdown. What should be a cozy coffee spot is instead a poorly managed extension of the hotel bar. The coffee is overpriced and underwhelming, served by staff who seem to resent your presence. One guest described a bartender who told customers to F off, while others were ignored entirely. The food is stale, the service is cold, and the only thing consistent here is the disappointment. Even smaller shops like She have issues. Customers complain about unfriendly staff and a strict no-refund policy. Return an item, and you will get a store credit instead of your money back. The place has a hip aesthetic but lacks basic customer service. Bars in the area like Brick Bar follow the same trend. The cocktails might be decent, but the service is often shockingly rude. Staff members have been described as hostile, dismissive, and slow, turning what should be a fun night out into an exercise in patience. One guest was yelled at for asking a simple question, while another waited nearly an hour for a drink. In summary, businesses near Evangelische Hochschule Berlin seem to operate on the principle of minimal effort for maximum profit. Whether it is a shopping mall that cannot provide basic facilities, a spa that stresses you out, or a restaurant that serves disappointment on a plate, the pattern is clear. If you are visiting, lower your expectations. Or better yet, take your money somewhere that actually values customers.